Hello everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. As part of a ZtormLabostix article. This audio podcast is part of a Bellow and Raw. This audio podcast as part of a Chrome edition, and this audio podcast as part of a ZtormLabostix production. Today, looking at sort of the histology, aspects of MG or myasthenia gravis, and in addition to the general pathology features or basis of myasthenia gravis. So in around the histology, so MG is a condition caused again by the formation of particular antibodies, immune mediated antibodies to the acetylcholine receptor on the sarcolemma of the junctional folds of the motor end plates in around the neuromuscular junction. In around the pathology in adults with MG with myasthenia gravis, the thymus gland is abnormal, and thymomas or tumors may or can develop as a result. Generally, thymomas are benign, but they can become malignant, and thymomas are also derived from thymic epithelial cells, which are a spindle cell or round spindle cells or round types in line to pathology and under pathological morphology, with an infiltrate of reactive lymphoid cells. The cells sort of the thymomas also contain certain clusters of immune cells indicative of lymphoid hyperplasia, and a condition usually found only in the spleen and lymph nodes during an active immune response. So although 80% of thymomas are benign, 20% of the lesions behave as low-grade malignant tumors and infiltrating local structures with metastatic spread in around 10% of cases. In around histology and under and to the morphology in some further detail. The axon foot under microscopy with mitochondria and smaller synaptic vesicles cause a sort of a discharge around acetylcholine into narrow synaptic cleft. The acetylcholine receptors are then are concentrated in around the thickened muscle sarcolemma immediately beneath the axon foot, and beneath the axon foot. Acetylcholine esterase is located or identified in the synaptic clefts, and contractile filaments are visible in the muscle cell in the muscle cells in around the in the muscle cells in around the synaptic clefts. In around the microscopy where histology is a basis, the abnormal axon morphology and the great and enlarged synaptic clefts are filled with densely sort of staining material under microscopy, and the contractile filaments are visible in the muscle cell and in muscle cells in around again the synaptic clefts and in around the synaptic clefts and where there is in regard to sort of the some of the sort of additional sort of additional sort of laboratory and pathology sort of investigations. Immunohistochemical staining is and has been used, and a section of the sections of the thymus gland from myasthenia gravis recipients in amongst literature have identified or shown B cells expressing IgM, immunoglobulin M, IgM, and CD21 markers in the germinal centers, and sections of the thymus gland have in the thymus gland have also expressed B cells have shown B cells and also expressing CD23 in the germinal centers That draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast as part of a ZtormLabostix article. This audio podcast as part of a Bellow and Raw. This audio podcast as part of a Chrome edition. This audio podcast as part of a ZtormLabostix production.